All right, good morning. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live morning show edition. Hey, you know what? I thought I'd bring up a little bit of a different topic, trying to find something not everybody else is either writing about or talking about or whatever it may be. But hey, want to go out and trying to think of a few things. And what are those things? I want to come up, as you can tell from the thumbnail here within, about my picks at least. And you guys can respond with your picks. What are your thoughts? What are our thoughts as the Duke crew? What are your selections for potentially some breakout players this year? Now, if you paid attention to the thumbnail, which to be honest, I don't really know how much people really do or do not pay attention to that. But I could say this. I came with 5 people that I thought would be strong candidates to be breakout or have huge performances this year. Now, I excluded some people like Sam Laporta or Jared Goff or, Gibbs, I don't know, St. Brown, or just because these guys normally have just stellar seasons. So I wanted to keep them off the list. I kind of threw Aiden Hutchinson into that as well, maybe even a Lee McNeil. But in fairness to McNeil, maybe he could be debatable. So as you can tell from the thumbnail, I came up with a couple different people, and we'll run through them. But let's give you the list of the people I came up with right off the bat. And number 1 on that list is going to be Jack Campbell, the second-year linebacker. Sorry, trying to pump this up with some music here. Then I'm going to go to my pick. You guys heard me talk about him a lot. But James Houston, the hitman, the problem. I think he's going to be really unleashed this year. Then you got Brian Branch. Hey, I think he's going to be more a safety than a quarterback this year just because of the strength of the team. So I think he's going to come on out and just have a really stellar season. Jameson Williams, the one offensive player I put in my list. And you know what? Jameson Williams, I think he's just going to be all over the field. As you guys have heard me talk about throughout the season, I thought once we got to the playoffs, man, he just really took his game to a whole new level, including that NFC title game where, man, oh man, he was just off the charts good. His best game as a pro. And then Terrion Arnold, the rookie. I think he's going to come on out and just prove to everybody he wants to be not only the best player in the secondary, he might be indeed the best corner in the draft. Hopefully, he's got a kick out of the music. All right, before we get into all that, though, a couple things real quick just to run through. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are, I think, literally 10 subs away from hitting 6,600. So if you can help out with that, that'd be great. Also, if you enjoyed the shenanigans of the Duke crew and the morning show, plus whatever other videos we put out, please consider hitting that thumbs up button. As you probably all are definitely aware, it helps the channel out a lot. Try to get to a goal of about 200 thumbs up. 300 is always great. If we can get that on every one, it helps out exponentially. Other than that, outside of being a YouTuber and a coach, I am a realtor, in case you didn't know, and have been for eons and eons. So if you're considering buying or selling property anywhere in the state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let me know your thoughts. If you are looking for someone to work on your behest, try to save some money and make the whole process easier, then, hey, give me a call, shoot me a text, yada, yada, yada. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live. Let's get this going. Hopefully you guys got a kick out of the music, and you've heard my selections for who are some potential breakout candidates this year. I would love to hear your thoughts, though. All right, let's get this going. Bo, good morning, Duke crew. Superdome or bust, exclamation point. Wingo will be the late round wonder. Ooh, that's a good call on Wingo. He could potentially, you guys heard my only worries about him, but I also know, as you guys have pointed out, they're potentially considering playing him more on the edge. Not that he couldn't play some inside, but that may ultimately help him. So good call on that, Bo. All right, let's see. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. I personally feel JMO and Houston will have breakout years. I think Jameson, as you already heard me mention this morning, Stephanie, I think he's really set up, especially when Josh Reynolds gone. I think there's just going to be more opportunities for him. Plus, his play really developed last year as the season went on. If you've watched the show for a while, you've heard me talk about when I thought he came out of college. no disrespect to any coach. I just don't think he had been taught a whole lot as far as route tree concepts, progressions, how to use some of his feet placement when he gets out of breaks. A lot of it just seemed really raw, in my eyes, at least. Now, whether it's that everybody just allowed him to just use his God-given talents, his speed, his athleticism, just beat everybody, that's possible. Could it be he never felt the need to develop more things? That's also a real possibility. As far as James Houston, we all know about the rookie year. And then last year, he basically was a wash just because of the injury. So I think he has the potential to really bounce back this year and in a big way. We'll have to wait and see. Frank, what do you got? Frank, attack in the east side, Jack Campbell and Jameson Williams. Let's go. Woo! Go Lions, 100% first woo of the show. And Frank, I think you're right. I think Big Jack Campbell is I think he's going to be used a lot on blitz packages. You've seen it some last year. I think you're going to see it more this upcoming year. Because let's face it, the dude is massive and he's athletic. He can shed blocks. If you watched him last year, my opinion, he just had no real knowledge of how to rush the passer. Didn't know how to use his leverage. Didn't know how to use his arms. Didn't know how to use his hands to fight off would-be, offensive lineman blockers. Just, it was all new looking to him. It looked better as the season went on, as his performance also looked better. But I'm guessing another offseason of development, a little bit more comfortability, and being able to do things without having to think about what to do all the time, just do it more instinctively. Yeah, I think he's going to be a potential candidate to have a great season. All right, Matthew, greetings, salutations. Good morning, everyone. Super Bowl or bust! Exclamation point. And woo! Good morning to you too, Matthew. All right, Michael, greetings, salutations, coach and Duke crew, exclamation points. Woo, woo, woo! 100%. And good morning to you too, my friend. Bo, something completely different. Eve or Miranda? I guess I don't know that one. So somebody's going to have to let me know. All right, Clark, greetings and salutations, everyone. I tend to agree with Frank, as I thought Campbell was really showing signs of development as the season went on. Williams kept doing more and more. Also, the sky is the limit this year. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, both players, I think, have the potential. And obviously, that's why they're on the list, right? To have just outstanding seasons going ahead. So I think we're all on the same page that these guys potentially could really launch forward. All right, Michael, I think Campbell will have a breakout year, 100%. Go with that, and go Lions, exclamation points, after the year, that is. All right, Frank the Tank, a lot of people are worried about defensive line still. You all know this team 13 games last year. We all been paying attention to the free agent. This team is so much better. Go Lions. Yeah, I especially agree on the defensive side of the ball that we're just vastly improved, much deeper. The secondary is completely revamped. I mean, you could have the mindset if you wanted to view the trade for Carlton Davis as, hey, we invested and got 3 cornerbacks with our draft, which certain extent we did. We got Davis, we got Rakestraw, and then obviously we got Arnold. Rakestraw, I almost wonder if they're going to play him more as a kind of hybrid safety than they will a corner. We'll have to wait and see, though. All will be revealed in time. And, to your point, too, Frank, we did get Davenport on the defensive line, too, so maybe he makes an impact. DJ Reader, we're also aware he's going to make an impact for sure, without question. All right, Matthew, breakout players. Let's see, Jack Campbell, Stephen Gilmore, J-Mo, Gibbs, and Branch. All right, we'll go with all that. Yeah, if Gibbs somehow just really jumps forward more than what he did last year, wow, that's going to be a heck of a season. But to your point, could he break out from whatever it was, 980 yards rushing to like 2,000? He does that. Yeah, I'd say he broke out. Branch, I agree a ton, and I know I put him in the thumbnail, that he could potentially just really take another gear forward. Campbell, sounds like everybody's on that boat. And then Gilmore, we all wondered why he was on the roster all year, but didn't really ever get into games. In fact, I can't even think of a game he got into in the regular season, at least. So could it be that could he be the diamond in the rough we're all not seeing coming? I mean, I think most of us are going to say, hey, we get the top 3 corners or whatever with Robertson, Davis, Arnold. I guess you got to throw Rakestraw in there, so more than 3. But could Gilmore beat out Emmanuel Mosley for a spot? I mean, these are just things. The only way we're going to get answers for is once the preseason comes and see these guys out there. And I do think we'll see Gilmore out there along with Emmanuel Mosley, assuming he's healthy enough to go, because I think they're going to want to get him every rep possible to shake out some of the rust from basically over a year and a half or so on the sidelines. All right, Mike, howdy, Dan, and the Duke crew. Feeling better today. Glad to hear it, Gunny. And you know what? Hey, I'm just glad that you're here being with us, and also hopefully in a little bit calmer physical place with less duress. All right, Hatman, good morning, Dan, Duke crew. Let's go get cooking. Woo! 100% Hatman, and good morning to you, my friend. Big Eddie, good morning, Duke crew, exclamation points. Coach Dan, I see a lot of defenders on the list. Where's the offense? Well, kind of like I mentioned earlier, it's just I kind of excluded a lot of the offense just because they've had such great seasons. I mean, Sam Laporta set a NFL record for rookie receptions in a year. So can he break out vastly more than that? I mean, debatable, but could he do it? Absolutely, absolutely. St. Brown's a Pro Bowler, so I kind of kept him off the list just for that reason. How much more can we really anticipate getting out of him? I mean, you always want more, but I think we get it. He's kind of broken out. Jared Goff, hey, since he's been here in Detroit, if you exclude the first, whatever it was, his first year, I want to say 10 games. So just went by the last 7 games of that year, all the second year, and now a third year. He's number 4 in the NFL. Let that sink in. He's the number 4 quarterback just during that time frame in the NFL as far as yards, touchdowns, and there was a couple other metrics, but the number 4 ranked overall quarterback. So can he really break out much more? I mean, there's only 3 spots ahead of him. So on a side note with that segue, I guess you could say a lot of people say, hey, we can't pay Goff or whatever, this or that, but let that all sink in. In his time in Detroit, for the most part, there are only 3 dudes in this league that have put up better numbers than him. That means there's a whole lot of dudes who have put up worse numbers than him. So, food for thought. All right, Bo, what constitutes a breakout season? That's probably something we need to define, right? And that's a good question. I would just say this, where somebody has vastly superior stats than they did the year before. So how do we want to – I guess we got to be careful with that. I had no sacks last year. I had 2 this year. I broke out. So I don't know, man. I guess this early in the morning, I'll just say this. I'll leave it to the individual to come up with their own definition, Bo. There's no right or wrong answer. So throw out there whatever you think the answer should be. All right, Frank the Tank. And for you, Dan, James, Houston, Pascal, and Davenport. Okay, James, Houston, Pascal, and Davenport. Pascal, man, if he can stay healthy, and I guess you got to put Davenport in the same boat, they probably are or should be on that list. So you're probably right, Frank. Yeah, James Houston, I think we all get, if he's going to get the amount of reps that he got his rookie season, at least the second half of the season when they used him, then, yeah, he has every possibility to kind of go back to that rookie season campaign and maybe even something beyond that. Because he was just on a massive tear that as we all know, towards the end of his rookie season. Davenport, hey, this dude's got a lot of promise. His one issue is his ability to stay on the field. Joshua Pascal, kind of the same boat. I mean, he's had flashes and moments, but again, it's always this injury pops up that kind of puts him back on the sideline for a few weeks. It kind of derails his momentum. So I'm with you there. Andrew, Saints versus Lions, Super Bowl. Woo! 100%. And you know what? I would say that's a strong possibility. The Texans have added a ton of firepower. We all know it. They've got it on both sides of the ball, and they are in a position where they could make a run. Either way, whether the Texans make a run or not, if the Lions are in the Super Bowl, I'm a pretty happy person. All right, Matthew, good, Gunny. Glad you're here. 100%. Yeah, glad you're feeling better, Gunny. All right, Jesse, at Andrew, wouldn't that be something? Question mark. Woo! 100%. Yeah, Lions in the Super Bowl. Lions versus anybody. I don't care who it's against. Just get us there. I'm good to go. All right, Thomas, what do you got? I like that all 22 films had to say about the Detroit secondary. Quote, last year's ceiling is this year's floor, end quote. Our secondary has a chance to be special. I think it does, man. I think it really does. And I think part of that, I mean, we've definitely, without question, have, on paper at least, improved the overall talent in that secondary. It's so much superior than it was the year before. And I get you're talking, game of inches. If we're going to play as much man-to-man as I'm anticipating we're going to play this year, then, just that little deep nuances here or there, being able to stay with the receiver when they cut or break or run the fly pattern, or, whatever it is, inches. If I can stay that much closer and make a break on the ball that much easier or faster than what they could last year, then you probably have wins. You probably have a lot more wins. You probably have a lot more turnovers. And I get we've talked about this a lot, but you also look at Jack Campbell. Should he and Pascal, Houston, maybe Broderick Martin, maybe he should have been on this list, have much better seasons? Absolutely. And now you're talking about a lot of younger guys. Brian Branch is another example of a younger guy, maybe a Lee McNeil, all of them. Man, Aiden Hutchinson, we got to remember he's only going into year 3. You've got so many youthful dudes on this defense and now potentially a much better secondary. Yeah, I think there are going to be plays to be made and a lot of good ones. Jess and good morning all at Mike the Marine. Gunny, good to hear that, my friend. Yeah, glad to hear you're doing better, man. Let's see, Matthew, another breakout is the whole defensive line. That might not be a bad call right there. I think I'll go with this. I'm going to go with the defensive front 7, just because you guys have heard my speculation. My speculation is we're going to be sending the house probably 60 to 70% of the time. Now, is that going to be 7 dudes every time? Probably not. But are we going to blitz 5 or 6 guys most times? I think so. I think you're going to see a lot of one-on-one coverage, a lot of man coverage, and mixing up blitzes where they're coming from. Although a lot of delayed pulls, stunts up the middle. And that's why I think Houston really could have a very good season. It's also why I think Campbell could have a good season. Not that he won't be used in other ways than blitzing, but I thought him as a blitzer was effective last year. But again, as we've already talked about, he just needs to learn a lot of technique. It's also why I think some of the younger guys we've taken, we'll probably throw Broderick Martin in that mix. You got the athleticism there. And I think with Broderick Martin and Jack Campbell, you're in the same boat. You got the athleticism there. You got the components that are hard to teach. Now, if you believe in your coaches to grow them, teach them, make them better fundamentally, that's where they could really jump forward. And that's what I know somebody mentioned Wingo earlier, him too. If he cleans some things up and learns how to be better with his leverage techniques, his hands placements, because he does have a shorter wingspan, he's going to have to learn how to adjust to the NFL level. But we go on and on about that, so let's move on to the next one. Bo, that's a hoorah, Gunny. There you go. Hatman, Dan, I think that Campbell, Gibbs, Jamo are going to break open the doors this year and break some records. Campbell may be the leading tackler this year. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets somewhere in – this is just a speculation, but somewhere around 100 tackles. I'm going to go with about 7 sacks, probably 3 forced fumbles, and 2 picks. And you think about that, that's a pretty good season. If he's anywhere near that, he's probably at least in the conversation for the Pro Bowl. And for a guy that the start of his freshman year, rookie year, or whatever last year, a lot of people were kind of raised eyebrows on him. Again, I always try to caution people, not every rookie comes in and is, a stud right away. Most rookies take a season or so to kind of get their feet wet and get acclimated to the NFL game. I thought Campbell, while he by no means was Sam Laporta or Gibbs or Brian Branch, I thought he had a very strong rookie year. All right, let's see. Bo, all 22 films said it well. Yeah, they did. They do a good job with those things. Let's see. Mike the Marine, hit that thumbs up and shout, woo! By the way, can someone please buy Don Burr an ear pod for these woos? I'm trying to be a little softer there with that one, Don Burr, so sorry about that. And to be fair, guys, I do get some messages from not many people. I would say 90% of the people love the woo. But there are probably 10% that do not. And, Don Burr is not the only one who's mentioned, hey, maybe we should remove the woo or whatever. So ban the woo. All right, let's go. Good morning, Duke Crew! ! Breakout players for this year. Jack Campbell is going to have it figured out, read and react. Jamo, if he can run underneath and catch over the shoulder passes. Yeah, I think JMO, there's a lot of potential this year. You could see his route tree really expand. And it did to some degree last year. I know we talked about it by the time the Lions got to the postseason or, the playoffs. They, in my opinion, right before that, you saw defensive coordinators starting to adjust to him more. And definitely in the playoff games, you started to see, or at least I felt like I started to see more and more double teams, especially with safety over the top. So, the cornerbacks were coming up and either meeting him at the line, trying to press him, or they were jumping back a few feet with a safety cheating over to him. And then what you started seeing more and more is, here, go coach mode here, a lot more route trees where he would, come back routes, out route, post patterns, some fly patterns. I know against San Francisco, they used them. At least that comes to my head like 3 or 4 times on deep fly patterns. But you get it. They were expanding his tree, and defensive coordinators were showing that they felt he was more and more of a threat because you were committing 2 people to him, I don't know, 60% of the time. Maybe you left them on single coverage, 40% of the time. But how about this? They weren't doing it a ton. They weren't leaving them one-on-one a whole lot. All right, see, France, good evening, everyone. Let me tell you, Coach, the Mountain Dew here in Germany is not very good. I tried one yesterday, first time in 4 years, and it's not what I recall at all. So here's what I can say. I can tell you it's terrible in China. I've tried it there, and it's not good. It's not good at all. In Europe, at least the spots I've been to for scouting and stuff like that, it looks like the glow bright stuff that the stuff that you crack and it glows all over the place. It looks like that. And I remember one time, I want to say, was it Ireland? That sounds right. There's Circle K's everywhere, by the way, over there. I walked like 4 miles to get to one because I didn't want to get a ride. I was like, all right, I'll go for a walk or whatever. Got there. They had some there, went and got it. And yeah, it was just so incredibly bright. I was like, wow, they must be using, some different, syrups or whatever. I took about 2 swigs of that thing. I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. So I feel your pain there, my friend. I feel your pain. All right, Frank the Tank from the east side. Branch will not be a full-time safety. He is too good in the box. Yeah, go Lions. No, I think what they'll do is I think you're going to see a lot of the safeties play up at the box in the nickel because I do believe Aaron Glenn's going to blitz them more and more. So Branch, iffy, probably not Kirby a ton. Might get some there just to catch teams off guard. But Kirby's strength is the single high safety, in my opinion. He reads the field very well, sideline to sideline, as long as he keeps it all in front of him. And then to be fair, that I thought that was one of Tracy Walker's strengths or Jeff Okuda's. Jeff Okuda, I thought if somebody would have moved him to a safety spot, I think he would have been pretty good. Maybe, I don't want to say all pro, but he would have been much better than a cornerback. It's just he was very stiff in his midsection, couldn't get out of breaks fast, couldn't keep up with receivers, especially any kind of crossing patterns, just not good at. But Kirby Joseph, though, you put him up top and allow him to read everything underneath, he's pretty damn good. He did take a little bit of a step back last year, but to your point, Frank, I do think Brian Branch is going to get moved around a lot, and you know what? Kudos to him. I think he's the real deal. I think they got a steal with him last year. All right, Detroit D, greetings, salutations, everyone. Woo! And good morning to you too, my friend. Hopefully having a great one. Michael D, I think also that Jamie will have a breakout season, exclamation point, and one pride, exclamation points. Back at you, Michael. All right, Mike the Marine, thanks for all your support and prayers, 100%. We're all with you, man. Hopefully you keep doing well. Just say K, good morning, Detroit D. Have a great one, buddy. There you go. Just say K, JMO is about to explode, I think, at Michael D. Yeah, I think we all get it. JMO, potentially, he's going to have one of the bigger seasons for the Detroit Lions. All right, Frank the Tank, you said, Dan, they will be blitzing the linebackers this year, not so much the corners and safeties. Defense they got, now they can play, not taking so many chances to go Lions. Now, I think my guess is, Frank, I think they're going to blitz safeties, corners, linebackers. I mean, who knows, man? Running backs, maybe they'll sneak in a running back and tell Gibbs to just run as fast as he can, go get that quarterback on a blitz. Whatever it is, I think they're going to just be uber aggressive. And that's why I think they're trying to go more and more with Swiss Army knife players So if you look at, I know we talked about it before, but you look at Davis, you look at Arnold, you look at Iffy, Rakestraw, they've all played safety and corner. So some of the people they have in the linebacker group, Houston, you can make the argument for Campbell, have played some last year as linebackers / defensive ends. Pascal's kind of, probably more, you could say with him more defensive tackle / end, but you get it. They play all over, and I think you see that more and more with the draft this year too. So Vaki, safety, running back. Who else? I don't know. There's some other guys, but you guys get the gist. They want to keep guys moving around so they just have more flexibility. And with more flexibility, more unpredictability. I guess that's a word, but you guys know where I'm going with that. All right, Mike, the breakout player is Levi. Ooh, that's a good one, Mike. With new defensive line coach Williams calling him out by name as excited to work with. And if you look at, just to support you there, Mike, you look at Levi's just season rankings last year, stats, and how he ranked on the team. He was near the top in a lot of different categories. He just didn't get a ton of snaps. And we've talked about it before, but my guess is that was just to help his back's recovery time frame. So I get that, man. And maybe they do that again this year. Maybe they just kick it up another level. That I don't know. We'll wait and see. All right, Dave, what do you got? Do crew! Exclamation points. Greetings, salutations, all. Blitzing, keep on blitzing. Send the house every play. I like the way you're thinking, Dave. I have Frank the Tank. One more thing. Undrafted free agents got to the centers to practice for Frank Ragnow. Right now, going nowhere. Go Lions. Yeah, I think they're going to baby Frank, so to speak, in practice as much as possible. I know last year they gave him, I think it was Wednesdays off. I wouldn't be surprised if it is possible they give him 2 days off a week. The only problem is, will Frank allow that? Man, I don't know. But as we get into the meat of the season, so once you get maybe to about the halfway point, that's where I could see them start giving him 2 practices off per week. Before that, maybe just one, veterans rest day off per week. Same with Decker. I mean, you do want to try to preserve those guys for the postseason. So that would be my assumption, at least. All right, Lions talk with the bad guy. So I just heard that Arnold called the Lions during the draft and asked them to trade up for him. That was allowed either way. That's awesome. I mean, there's no rules to stop a player from calling teams or whatever and try to say something. But he did allude to that, and I got that from Woodward Sports or someone at Woodward Sports. So I'll just put it this way. I think if you watched once he got drafted, his reactions, and then listened to some of his interviews, it was pretty clear to him the Lions liked him a lot, and you know what? He wanted to stay there. He did not want to leave Detroit without being a Lion. So it seemed to be a very good setup for everybody, and I love everything about him so far. I think he's got the right mantra, attitude, and everything. I think he's going to go through some growth opportunities like most rookies do in the NFL. But I think this guy could be something, him and Rakeshaw could really be impacts for this team for a long time to come. All right, Hatman. Hey, Gunny, hope you're feeling much better, my friend, 100%. Bo, did you see that Panay Sewell interview yesterday? I did. I thought, man, he did a real good job with it. Lions Talk, we'll see about Jameson. Yeah, we will see. But I'm putting some thoughts into it, thinking that he's going to have a pretty good year. Mike DeMarine, another breakout player on offensive line. Ooh, Fragnor or multi-free agent signings, both will high Raz working with Hank Fraley. Yeah, Coach Fraley. Yeah, and that's also why I think Manu is going to develop real nicely. Mahogany is going to develop real nicely because Scoresdale, too. I know everybody kind of soured on him last year, but a rookie offensive lineman, probably in over his head initially. But sort of like with the other guys we mentioned, I think you give them a year, which Scoresdale's now had a year. I think they're going to develop and be better. Now, are they going to be all pro? Man, who knows? But I think the Lions are very much using, for the most part, a Green Bay Packers formula for developing offensive linemen. Remember, a lot of offensive linemen for the Green Bay Packers over the years have been mid to late round picks that they've kind of just developed in-house, groomed them up, and that's worked out very well for them. And there's been other teams that do it consistently as well. But the more I look at how we're constructing things, I do think the Lions have paid attention to like the Baltimore Ravens, the Green Bay Packers, and some other clubs, how they historically just churn out more and more good talent every year. And a lot of that is they draft players that are raw, but they develop them up. And if you do that with your late round picks and get even a 50% win rate, you're doing better than most of the teams in the NFL. Man, wow, no JDC yet? Question mark. Must have been a late night. Hey, maybe partied all night and slept every day. Let's see. Brent Green, salutations, Coach Ducro. I think J-Mo and Captain Jack will break out this season, but I hope Broderick Martin does as well. Go Lions and woo! Yeah, Broderick, I do think he's going to make more of an impact this year, but I think part of his problem is the fact that DJ Reader and Ali McNeil are just going to be starting in front of him. I don't see him supplanting one of them. If he does, then wow, he's really on the ready to go. But is he going to have a very good season? Potentially. Yeah, there's definitely some thoughts for that. But who knows? Maybe he'll just crush it. Bo, he's usually first, Hatman. Yeah, he usually is. Jedi Sith, where's JDC? Sick? Could be. Let's see. Brent, hopefully you're feeling better, Gunny. There you go. And I agree. Hatman, yeah, he always beats me here. Bo, you also. There you go. Steve Rogers, good morning, gang. Top 10 offense and defense this year? Question mark. I think so. Man, if a lot of these defenders really do break out, then yeah, there's probably a strong opportunity for us to have the top 10 offense and defense. Quentin Green and salutations, y'all. Man, let me tell you, I think this season going to be special. Like both sides of the ball going to fly. You got guys on both sides of the ball. I mean, this potentially on paper is the deepest Lions team in my lifetime. And that's saying something because some of those 90s teams, you've heard me talk about it, late 80s, were pretty dang deep. But this team just really doesn't seem to have any holes anywhere. Maybe some depth at receiver, maybe a veteran presence on the offensive line, or maybe the coaching staff just thinks, the guys that we have there are much better than you and I are anticipating. That's what we're going to have to wait to find out, but this team seems pretty dang complete. All right, Brent, this draft should light another fire under Kobe Scoresdale. Really hope he takes another step in his progression and holds off his competition. But I think he's got his hands full. He does, man. All the players are aware. It's not just one or two guys in each unit. Think of the offensive line. Think of the defensive line. Think of the secondary. Think of the wide receiving core. You want your snaps. Somebody else is coming for them too. You're going to have to fight for them. And, I know we've talked a little bit about Goff and Hooker, but I'll say this. I think this will be the best backup situation with Hendon Hooker that we've had in a long time. At the end of the day, with all these different position groups, I'm going to say this. Who wins? The team. Because everybody is aware I've got to play at a better level because there's some legit competition for my spot, my minutes, my snaps. Do I think Hooker's going to replace Goff this year? No, I don't. But do I think it's going to push both guys to be better? Yes. And same with the wide receiver room. Whoever is in the running for the number 3 receiver, are they going to be pushing each other to get better? Absolutely. Same with Scoresdale and everybody else. They're all wanting to be higher on the depth chart, get more reps and opportunities because that means more growth and development, which helps their careers. So I totally get it. Bo, one more step, one more takeaway, and I don't care what the ranking is. There you go. Rocky, good morning. I'm hoping for a breakout season from Broderick and J-Mo finally dominance. Yeah, and I really do think J-Mo is going to have a breakout season just in multiple different facets. I won't go into it again just because I know I've already talked about it, but yeah, I'm with you on both gentlemen. All right, Ed. Mahogany can also probably will beat out Scoresdale. Yeah, it's possible for sure. I think Scoresdale's gonna, at least I'm thinking he's gonna do better than he did last year. But is that gonna be enough to hold off the rookies or somebody else? That we'll have to wait and see. Thomas, we need Jack Campbell and James Houston to break out. Yeah, those two do it, along with maybe some improvement in the secondary. Then that whole defense is gonna perform better. All right, Brent, agreed, Ed. Agnew is a beast for sure. Yeah, he is. He's massive, especially, I think if he's not 100% pro ready in the running game, he's close. To me, his problem is going to be in the pass protection. Just again, not to keep going over it, but you watch his footwork, you watch his core, his midsection, and probably on top of all that, his hand placement for leverage. That's where I think he's going to struggle with some of the quicker, faster interior offensive linemen. If they get leverage on him in the pass blocking assignment or when he's pass blocking, that's where he seems to struggle on film. Going forward and mauling, not so much a problem. But as we know, you're probably going to pass block 60% of the time, run block 40% of the time. So one is going to affect the other. So, but he's going to be a rookie. He's going to be fine. He'll develop over time. Mike, love this Lions roster because of depth with blue collar players with grit and chips plus competition. Woo! Yeah, everybody's going to have to grind and refine their skills in order to get more and more out of themselves and help the team. And again, whenever there's competition, I'm a believer. That makes everybody better, makes the team better. Ed, I watched some of Mahogany's tape. To be honest, he can push Graham Glasgow for a starter, but having a high-level backup isn't bad. No, it's a good thing because I'm hoping that the competition on the offensive line is strong enough where maybe we go to the New England Patriots style, at least during the Tom Brady era, where they would rotate an offensive lineman every drive just to help keep those guys a little fresher throughout the entire season and the postseason. Plus, you help with development with that, but you also want to make sure you don't kill drives by putting somebody out there who isn't ready to go. So you're going to need to believe this person can perform and perform at a high level. Hatman, I also think that Betts is going to be a huge surprise. A breakout year, I'm not sure, but a factor is very possible. Yeah, when I did my breakdown of him, whatever it was months ago, I had a lot of question marks about some of his pass rush abilities and not his athleticism, not his ability to go bully ball and get leverage on offensive tackles and force his way to the quarterback. My problem was when he had to do more than just that. I didn't see it on film. I also pointed out, though, if you're going to do a bunch of pulls or stunts, he's pretty dang effective because of his strengths. And what have we been talking about? If we're going to go Blitzburg, I think you're going to see a bunch of pulls and stunts out of the front, 7. And that doesn't mean all front 7 are going after the quarterback every play, but I think he would fit that to a T. Him and Houston would do very well in that. And but to be fair, when it comes to pass rushing, I think Houston does well in any situation. It's the run defense where it's a little spotty. All right, Ed, breakout players, question mark. For this team to even sniff single digits in defense rankings, Jack needs to go from Jack, I'm lost, Campbell, to Jack, I know what I'm doing, Campbell. Fair enough, man. And I'm guessing a lot of that will be cleaned up just being a second year in the league. But, I get your point there, man. All right, Rocky, how about a breakout year for whoever our kicker is? Woo! There you go. And, how much we're going to use them this year, who knows? And that's the great debate, right? Do we really need to go get Jake Bates if we're never going to kick it? I mean, that's something for someone else to debate. And Don Kong, Super Bowl or bust. There we go. And good morning, Don Kong. Ed, you know who we don't talk about? Question mark. Jack Fox, dude, is a top 3 punter that we don't use. Nah, I mean, when you don't punt the ball, when you don't kick the ball, it's because your offense is either scoring or going for it. So, yes, Jack Fox might be the best punter in the league that nobody really knows because he just doesn't get many reps at it. So, good point on that. Dave, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, my friend. Ed, hey, Donkey Kong. There you go. Mike, the Marine, iron sharpens iron. What Sewell and Hutchinson did for each other. Yeah, I'll go with that big time. I think they help each other grow, and I think you're going to see more and more of that. I do think typically you're going to see a lot of, say, 1s versus 2s on both sides of the ball. So I think our best defensive line will go up against a lot of the number 2s on the offensive line during preseason training camp and things like that. So there will be an opportunity for a lot of those younger players to grow against some of our better players. All right, Don Kong, and 1s on 1s too, but it's mostly 1s and 2s. All right, anyways, Don Kong, trade the punter. Let's hope not. We don't want to do that. All right, Ed. Okay, my top 3 breakouts: Jack Campbell, Jameson, and Arnold. I think will help push this team to another level. I'll go with that. Yeah, great 3 there, Ed. All right, Bo. Second team defense practices against the first team. Yes, correct. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, but you will have opportunities for ones-on-ones, but a lot of times it is your ones versus the twos and vice versa. All right, Lions talk with the bad guy. Defense, let's go. Lions, roar. And they're going to be roaring all the way into the end zone every time they get a pick 6 or a fumble 7. All right, let's see. Bo and vice versa. Yes, agreed. Here's Johnny, Jack Campbell, James Houston could be a good stunt combo on passing downs. Yeah. I'm wondering on passing downs who will go with across the defensive line. I think we all know Hutchinson's going to be out there. There's a strong probability Houston's going to be out there. And then, man, I don't know. Do you go with Jack Campbell as an end and maybe Pascal as the other defensive lineman or Lee McNeil? I mean, you're going to have some real flexibility up there, but I'm with you on that there, Johnny. All right, Ed, I think this defense will have a lot of similarities to the 2022 Chiefs, who had a young but really good secondary that once they gelled around week 10, they were spectacular. Yeah, you give these guys some time to really grow. The big strength to me, reviewing the Lions, is going to be probably the first 3 to 4 games of the year. We all know a lot of teams do not play starters anymore in the preseason. So the Lions have everybody back for the most part, other than just 2 or 3 guys on both sides of the ball. I guess you could say 4 now with Will Harris gone, but I'm not really going to count that as a massive loss for us. Some loss, but not a massive one. So the vast majority of this team is the same that left San Francisco. Also, you look at the coordinators, a lot of similarities there. So I think the first couple of weeks of the year, there's a strong possibility, especially if we get somebody week 1 that has a new coordinator, new head coach, a lot of new personnel, new quarterback. Man, I could see that game just being like a 75-13 score. I mean, probably not that bad, but you guys get it. It could be a real beatdown. And as the team gets more and more familiar with each other, some of the younger guys grow and develop. Yeah, we could really be setting something up here. Taylor Made, we got Derek Barnes earned his varsity letter when he made the INT versus the Bucs. He should be ready to go in 24. Yeah, they can't overlook him. He did have a very good season last year. Couple moments here and there that were kind of head scratches, whatever, like the whiff in Dallas on Dak Prescott. But other than that, it kept growing, he kept evolving, kept getting better. We talk about rookies that don't always come in to make an impact, that take a season or 2 to grow. He's another one. Sort of like Ife Melifanu, didn't do much first couple of years, but to your point, Taylor Made his 3rd year. Yeah, real strong breakout season for him. Drums, woo! Good morning to you too. Ed, I'm so happy we finally be able to watch us have a defense. If we did what we did without a defensive, imagine what we can do with the defense. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think we could be potentially setting up just some massive one-sided scores. Anthony, good morning, Duke crew. Super Bowl or a bust, 100%. And thank you, Anthony, for all you do for the channel, man. You've always been awesome. Mike, what do you got? Dan, the dude, man, Thornton needs a sound bar with mixers. Woo! Spin it, brother. Yeah, I'm gonna try to work on more sound effects and stuff like that. As you guys could probably tell in the last week or so, trying to orchestrate or bring in some music and stuff like that. Just little things like that to add to the show. So I'm working on it, man. Ed, Lions win the Super Bowl. No way Lions fan misses the parade, right? No, I'm going to guess when the Lions win the Super Bowl this year, it'd probably be a good time if you were a bank robber to rob banks, because every bit of law enforcement, every bit of fandom, every bit of people that live in Texas or California or other countries, they're all coming to Detroit for that parade, man. The city, the state, the fan base will shut everything down, and probably everybody's calling to work sick the following day. So I agree with that. Hatman, let's give Dan the thumbs up, people. Yeah, if you guys can hit the thumbs up, the like button thing, that helps out a ton, as you're probably aware. Anthony, JMO, 1,000 plus, 8 touchdowns. I'm down with that, man. David, what do you got? Rodriguez and Martin. We'll go with that. Nope, man, those would be some real sleeper picks, and man, they do that. That'd be great. Lions talk with the bad guy. Wingo replaces Levi. Could be. Let's see. Jeff, I think he's injury prone. That might be, man. Here's Johnny. Woo-hoo! Blair, there you go. Man, I think JMO breaks 2,000 total yards this year. Man, that would be a massive season. But, receiving and catching, yeah, it could happen. Lions talk. Let's see. With the bad guy, there will be any competition scuffles between Lions players. If so, who do you think it will be? Maybe J-Mo and a rookie from Alabama. I mean, a scuffle's going to happen, especially when you're talking about in July and the early part of August. The heat index is up. You're outside. People are hitting for the first time in months. You're probably going to see a lot of different people go at it. Ed, let's see. Good morning, Coach and Duke crew. My breakout line will be defense coordinator Aaron Glenn. We'll go with that, man. And good morning, Ed. Ed, let's see. That will be a hard Batman sharing a backfield. He can do it, but we need to run a lot more two-back sets. They might be. They might do that more this year. Ed, for this offense to take their level, J-Mo does really need to push 1,000 yards. Yeah, I think there'll be a strong opportunity for him. Bo, Gamers Thing, Eve is from Stellar Blade, and Mira from Mass Effect. Okay, did not know that. Trey, Rise and Shine, Duke Crew, I have Branch having an all-pro season, and Houston J-Mo will have Pro Bowl seasons. I'm down with that. And boy, James Houston, I'd sign him down to the contract if that was me for a long-term one, because I'm with you, Trey. I think he's going to have a real good season. And, he's probably going to get paid next year. All right, Rocky, hopefully Betts comes in and has a breakout year. It's possible for sure, man. Trey, Arnold will be in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. On a side note to that, Trey, I did see that Vegas, somebody had an article about it yesterday. Vegas had him as like the number 3 or 4 how about this? He was one of the top leading candidates to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. So I agree with you. Let's see. Motown Mitch, breakout player, Levi. That would be great. And be another strong drafted player that just took a little time to get there. Troy, let's see. Coach, exclamation point. Not football related, but I passed my real estate broker's exam yesterday. Congratulations, man. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you need anything from me, any kind of words of wisdom, just get a hold of me and I'll try to help you out as best I can. All right, Matthew, remember that Gibbs did not play much until Montgomery had the rib injury. I'm looking for 2,000 yards plus combined. Maybe Houston, but not sure that ankle is right yet. Yeah, I think you're right on Gibbs that it took him a little time. If I remember right, early in the season, he just struggled with waiting for blocking assignments. He just wanted to hit the holes too fast. He didn't let things set up. As far as Houston, I'm really hopeful that he'll be 100% by the time the season rolls around. All right, Michael, if J-Mo plays like we all believe he can play, then Lombardi Trophy will be won by the Lions. 100%. Yeah. He'll impact this team a ton and the coverages of the defense. Josh, what do you got? AG needs to break out. Fair enough. There'll be some support for that. Jason, more going down on Lions today in Vegas. I'll put $5 down for you, Dan. There you go. Superdome or bust. And thank you very much for that, Jason. Yes. Put them down to win it, brother. We're going for it. I don't know what the payout is on that kind of stuff, but let me know. If I get $5 by betting 5, I'm happy. Michael, good morning, Dan. Good morning to you. Ed, I don't know. I feel like Houston has the, quote, most disappointing team of 2024 written all over them. Hope they don't have a letdown. I can see where you're going with that, Ed. Yeah, if they struggle to live up to what they did last year. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Here's Johnny. Bold prediction. Lions' first 2024 regular season TD, Jameson Williams. Let's go. Well, that beats mine because I was going with Jack Fox on a punt sneak and into the end zone. But, probably Jameson Williams would be higher on that list. So could go on that. All right, Chris, what do you got? It's all about it's a ballroom blitz. Thunder, it's like lightning. Ooh, all right, fair enough. I'll go with that. And correct. Lions talk with the bad guy, John Kapler. Now that we have our picks, who everyone's favorite player matchup coming up? Arnold helping on Metcalf. Hey, who's going to take Metcalf? I don't know with that. That would be an interesting question because one thing we've struggled with in the last few years is bigger physical receivers typically ran all over our secondary. Who would handle him this year? Carlton Davis is no slouch in that part. So maybe him with somebody helping. That's I don't know, speculation on my part. Chris, all these dogs. Yeah, I'll go with that. Silver Surfer, good morning, coach, and everyone else. I think Arnold and Rakestraw will see the field, but there are going to be a lot of growing pains. 100%. Yeah, rookies. Totally get it. they're going to get beat. They are going to commit penalties. They are, man. Yeah. Again, with rookies, you got to live with that to a certain extent. They're learning opportunities. Chris, stop blitzing every play. Yeah, I would say the vast majority, my anticipation is we're going to be blitzing and going after the other team 65 to 70% of the time. And then, roughly 30, 35% of the time, just playing more standard defense. Man Bear, Wingo, Star, I'll go with that, exclamation point. Silver Surfer, but they are also going to make plays. Yeah, the rookies will. They'll make some plays. They'll give some plays up. Chris, what do you got? Why you Madcap? There you go. Chris, what do you see? Captain Jack is a jacked baff. All right, I'll go with that. I think Jack Campbell's gonna have a real good season this year. Michael, don't remove Woo. It's your signature, 100%. Yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. Trump banned people that ban free speech. Keep the Woo. Got you, man. Mike, thumbs up. Ed, what's your thought on JMO? Is a lot of times they just use him as a decoy, which is where our running game / Ben Johnson have to come into play. Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that, especially as the season evolves. You knew more and more teams were putting 2 people on him, but that opened other people up. And then you saw teams have to adjust to St. Brown or Laporta because you can't just let them keep killing you or other people. But there lies the problem if you're a defensive coordinator for the other team. The Lions have a ton of weapons, and I think you're seeing more and more teams in the NFL, which was reflective in this year's draft, just say, hey, we're going to overload the offensive side of the ball. The rules all favor offense, so we're going to make it as dang hard as possible for you to be able to stop or limit our offense. It's also why I think more and more NFL teams will probably follow the Lions' path and say, hey, we can't stop you. Mathematically, this is a problem for us. So all we're going to do is just say we're going to put you in as bad a situation as often as we can to force turnovers. I think we're hitting the time in the NFL because of the rules and the way the game's played where, hey, you're going to give up passes. You're going to give up this, that, and the other thing. We're not going to stop the vast majority of drives. We just have to play this game, the defense, for turnovers. Can we force a few tip passes, a few late passes, slightly off accuracy passes that we can now produce into turnovers? That's my anticipation. Freddie, Jack Campbell has gained 20 pounds muscle. Wow. If he's done that, then he's got to be pushing 260, 270. And that's a massive linebacker. Trump's, I gained 20 pounds. All right. Glad to see you're working out, my friend. Freddie, sign DJ Shark, please. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Bringing him back here. Yeah, I'd be very okay with that, Freddie. Let's see. Richard, hoping for Broderick Martin to break out. Me too, man. Me too. Chris, Bama boys. Yeah, we'll go with that. Gary, good morning. All grit for life. Exclamation points. I kind of feel like JMO and Houston and Iffy are set to have the breakout years. You know what? I probably should have put Iffy on the list. That's not a bad call at all there, Gary. Houston and Iffy got something to prove coming off injuries. JMO is integrated. Yeah. And both of them, Iffy and Houston, are going into contract years. So that's another layer of motivation. Chris signed Shark. Yeah, so there we go. Freddie, Valky will have 700 yards on offense. That would be a real good season for him. A real good season. Jason, Jack Campbell, big time, exclamation point. The next Spielman. He could be, man. Freddie, Campbell will be all pro this year. He's locked in and behind Reader. Now the better secondary. All strong points. Frank, if AG is trusting in his rookies, Lions will have a top 5 defense. I'll go with that. Freddie, what position will Scoresdale play? My anticipation is right tackle. Maybe he's a swing tackle this year, but I don't know. That's my guess. Mitch Ambler, what do you got? Isaiah Williams, any chance to make the roster? Is there a chance? Sure, there's a chance. Michael, new chat should be Manu. There you go. Chris, Shablitz. Yep, we'll go with that. Freddie, Scoresdale was terrible in Thanksgiving game. Yeah, they played him at guard, and he got lit up like a Christmas tree, man. I get it. He's had other games where he played okay, not great. So, but, rookie, really kind of getting his feet well. I think with more coaching, he'll develop. Let's see, Chris Manu, yeah, we'll go with that. Don Kong, I'm just thankful that we have an excellent head coach and an amazing GM, exclamation points. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Agreed with that. Let them cook. Lions talk with the bad guy. What big names is everyone looking forward to besides Lions games? Me personally, the Texans, Cowboys. Let's talk Texans kick the Cowgirls' butts. They might, man. They might 100%. Battle for Texas. Tavel, what do you got? McCann, what do you got? Do you foresee us trading for an offensive or defensive player mid-season? Maybe Trey Hendrickson to put us over the top? Man, I guess for me, the answer would be depends on really what you would give up. Keep in mind, we already gave up our third and fourth rounder for next year. So I would think it would really have to be considered a value for them to give up even more additional draft capital for next year. Could they do it for 2 years down the road? Maybe, but you also are going to have to be able to take on, like Hendrickson is going to have to take on his contract. So it's possible, but I would temper excitement over it. Let's see, Doug. Everything is on paper. Real players make up their minds what happened last year and what they want to achieve. Put yourself in the mind and soul of any of these guys. You can't, we can't. No, 100%. I'll go with that. Freddie, trade a future pick for Matt Duran could be. What would you trade, though? How much? Moonscar, I think Rakestraw will impress us. Agreed. Might not show up in interceptions, but he may be on only 50% of defensive reps, but good chance he shadows receivers so close that he shuts down one side. So to your point, when he was in college, you did watch games where teams tested him out early and then stayed away from him the rest of the game. So I think you're pretty spot on with that. Richards, what do you got? Is Giovanni Manu going to be the Lions' new fullback? Whew, I don't think that's a bad move. If to your point, I don't think it's a bad move they do it because he is pretty fast and athletic. Go one direction, young man. Go that way, hit someone and get in the way. Yeah, man, that's a pretty good idea there, Richard. My marker, Dad, Trade Fitness. Nice to see you. Hope things getting okay. There you go. Let's see, Doug, Dave Flip, and the new regulators. Better kicker, Vaki, and all. He will be the breakout. Fair enough. Phil, do. There we go, Phil, and good morning to you too, my friend. Dan, Hooker will be impressive during the preseason, and the rumbles of replacing Goff will start. I think you're pretty spot on with that because I think Hooker is going to be set up to do real well this preseason. And again, I think most of us get in the preseason, especially the further you get into it, you go from playing against the 2s to the 3s and the 4s, especially by the third preseason game. So, yeah, he could put up some real good numbers potentially. Doug, the players with something to prove will be get a chance in the preseason more than any season before. Houston, Levi, Scoresdale, Yoda, Green, Donovan Peoples-Jones. We're going to see what they got in camp. But yeah, I agree with that. Some of the guys will probably get better opportunities than others. Chad, it's not bold if the chances are high. Dan's is way more bold. Fair enough. I'll go with that. And thank you. Lions Talk with the Mad Guy. We on the black and blue bad boys. We are the black and blue bad boys. I'm down with that. Phil, JMO opens the field for Laporta and St. Brown. He does indeed with that. Let's see. Chris, JMO danger, high voltage. Yeah, he's going to be able to electrify the offense. See what I did there? All right, Phil, whichever teams make the least mistakes wins. Yes, I agree. And I think we're going to try to force teams with our defense. I think we're going to try to force teams into some mistakes. All right, Chad, Trump's genius tell the hecklers to go home to mommy. LOL. Not sure if you saw that yesterday. I guess I must have missed something. All right, Phil, if we might be a backup now. It's possible. Yeah, if Branch and Kirby become the starters, then yes, if it would be the backup, but we'll all wait and see what happens. Phil, will Kirby start? That's another possibility. Will Iffy and Branch be the starters and Kirby sit? There could be some evidence of that. Let's see. Uncle Buzz scores though has no C or E. There you go. Let's see. Chad Hendrickson makes $20 million a year. We can't afford him. Yeah, because if you take on his contract, hey, it's gonna take money away from other players. So yes, I concur. Eric, I think we might trade one of our players personally for a couple picks back. Yeah, I think before the final cuts, is it possible that we trade away some guys for like a 7th round pick or 6th round pick? I think that would probably be a very Brad Holmes thing to do. Let's see. Michael, we are young, talented, and well coached, and knee Captorians. There we go. Chad, trade J-Mo. We are wasting his best talent. All right. Speed, running deep for wide open TD. Herbert or Allen would have a field day with that kid. All right. But then you got to replace him if you trade him. Trey, Miles Marger, likewise, my guy. All is well. That is good. All right, Bo. All done and dusted. See y'all tomorrow. Fair enough. All right, guys, we've been on the air for an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and head on off, get ready for the workday and all that kind of stuff. If there is some breaking news today, I'll get it over to you as fast as possible. Otherwise, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Literally 10 subs away from hitting 6,600. So if you can help out, that would be great. If you enjoy the video or any of the videos on Lions Talk, please consider hitting the thumbs up button. If we get to 200 to 300 per video, it really helps us out a lot. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.